Okay, so I quite literally just want to touch on how eating more food can actually help you lose weight. So, everyone's really quick to say calorie deficit when someone struggles with why they're not losing weight. Like, you just need to go into a calorie deficit. It's thrown around all the time. Or you're eating too much. Or you're obviously not tracking all of your food intake. Like, they're obvious things that get thrown around when people cannot lose fat. But so very often we see people under eating, trying to restrict themselves to 1,400 calories a day, 1,300 calories a day, 1,200 calories a day. It's the common thing that we're actually now seeing because of these bloody things that are getting thrown around on social media. And it kind of seems counterintuitive when someone says, you just need to eat more food, or we need to increase your food intake. The thing is that our maintenance calories are a lot higher for many of us women, especially those of you who are busy mums who are always on your feet. Like, your maintenance calories are actually a lot higher than where you're putting them. If you're doing an office job and you're sitting on your ass most of the day, that's a different story. But those of you that are always on your feet, your maintenance calories are a lot higher. But when someone says you just need to eat more food and then you will lose weight, that's because you're under eating, which then leads to you binging one day, or you're not even aware of nibbling the kids' snacks. How many times have you caught yourself eating the crusts here, or you're cooking and you're taste testing while you're cooking? Or you grab a bite of your husband's whatever. It's so much easier to let that slide and not be aware of it when we are restricting ourselves or hungry. It's like pulling an elastic band. The more we pull it, it can only go so far before it goes ploing, and then the binge happens. Now, you can eat perfectly for 6 days and still not lose fat. I did not say you're going to gain weight, but I said you're not going to lose anything. Because if you blow it over by like a 1,500 calorie surplus, like you eat like 3,500 calories, you're not going to lose any fat. I'm not saying you're going to gain weight, but you're not going to lose anything because you're taking yourself out of a deficit. Why don't you just eat more every single day instead of restricting yourself so much that you overeat one day? Because I see that all the time. Oh, but I still have so much fat to lose. I don't see how I could possibly eat more food. It doesn't make sense. Or I don't see how I could possibly rest. I hear that all the time. But what you're doing currently right now obviously isn't working. If it was, you wouldn't be stuck right now. So question yourself that. If what you are doing right now is not working for you to get to where you want to be, why do you keep doing it? You can take your body so far if you just allow yourself to, like, literally make cognitive sense of what you're currently doing. Because everything happens in phases. You're not meant to live in a calorie deficit. It needs to have an end date. And I never used to do this before. And I've learnt through my years. Yes, when we go into a calorie deficit, this is how long it's going to be for, give or take 1 or 2 weeks. Then we're going to pull you out, go on a diet break, reverse up if you want to call it that, sit there for a while, focus on building your metabolism back up. Because your metabolism is dynamic. It goes down, gets all smashed up, but then it reignites once you start to feed it. Your body does the same thing, but the thing is, the longer that you pull that band back, the longer that you push yourself through that deficit, the more damage there is to be undone. It's not damaged in terms of it can't be fixed. No such thing. Unless you have, like, pathologies, but that's a different story. I'm not talking to those people. It can bring itself back up if you allow it to. But if you're eating at like 1,200 calories, 1,400 calories a day, and doing random days of like 3,000 calories or whatever, Your body isn't adapting to that up, down. It is seeing you in that survival mode there, regardless of how many random days you do up here. But the thing is, because it's seeing you down there, your processes in your body turn up the enzymes, the little things that activate. Like, enzymes are like switches. They turn on things. The ones for fat storage are turned on when you're in that phase, because your body, like, it thinks there's a famine happening. So the longer that you push down there, the more of these switches that are turned on for fat gain, fat storage. And I take back things that I used to say now, because I used to believe that when you're really lean and when you diet all the way down, you become a lot more anabolic to muscle tissue. Yes, you become more anabolic, but you also become more anabolic to fat tissue, everything, because your body is in that survival state. And that's why things need to be done properly. Like, you don't want to titrate your food up by like 50, 100 calories. A good, like, depending how far you go down, a good 200 calorie increase is perfect, depending on how far you went down. But then you also need to take into consideration the mental state. But the thing is, if you're too scared to bring your food up to here, when you can't even be consistent down here, it doesn't make sense. If you're down here for like 6 days of the week and then you're all the way up here, increase your food every single day so that you can actually create a great base to go off. And I heard this literally 6 years ago, because I saw a video of me saying the same thing 6 years ago. You need to have a stable base with your food intake. If we do not know what you're eating every single day, if you don't even know what you're eating every single day, where are we going to build upon for that? You need to have a stable base of what you are eating, give or take a little bit, throughout the whole week to know, okay, now we know where to take you from here. Calorie calculators are bullshit. I'm putting it out there. Calorie calculators, macro calculators, they're all bullshit. You're a human. No humans are the same. No humans have the same history of dieting, same metabolic history, the same hormonal history, the same metabolic current, the same hormonal current. All that stuff, including your lifestyle, your activity, all of that is dynamic. And a macro calculator and a calorie calculator can't tell you that. So I think they're all bullshit. But what can happen is knowing exactly how much protein you need to take, which I always say is 2.2 grams, times your body weight in kilos. Unless you're over fat, then we can have a little bit more leeway. But as soon as you know your protein, all you need to do is log in your food every single day for about 4 days. Every single thing you eat, including your drinks. If anything has calories in it, log it down. Know what you eat every single day for a week without changing your habits. And then you know what your maintenance is, if that's where you're sitting as maintenance. If you want to lose weight, it goes from there. But the thing is, if what you're logging is like 1,200 calories a day, then it seems ludicrous to think that you're going to reduce from there if you're not losing fat and you want to lose fat. You need to have yourself a good bucket to take from. So that's the other consideration. If you do not have enough material, enough stuff in the bucket to take things out, to use for your calorie deficit, to use for losing fat and building your body, then you have no place dieting. If you have a bad relationship with food, you have no place dieting. If you haven't been sitting around your maintenance, you have no place dieting. And your maintenance, even that one's hard to tell, because like a lot of people overestimate or underestimate their activity. So I guess with maintenance, you could be safe at 13 to 15 calories, I guess, I think it's per pound. I'm pretty sure they do it per pound. I'll look that up later. But whatever you do, make sure you're in a place for fat loss first. Is your relationship with food good? Have you been around maintenance for a long enough period of time? They're two of the biggest factors to know. And then if you do go into a diet phase, is it something that fits your lifestyle? Not something that you have to struggle to make your lifestyle fit it. But there is a caveat to that too, because you can't just say, oh, it doesn't fit my lifestyle, can't do it. Because it's your current lifestyle that led you to where you are now. So yes, you're going to need to make some compromises. Yes, let's use the word compromise, not sacrifice. There are going to be compromises you need to make. But it needs to be something that you don't have to pull every single, I was going to say feather, every single hair strand from your body to do. I'll leave it at that. So, hope that helps. And good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're from.